episode today is about a topic that's, near and dear to my heart because it's about office politics. Okay. Have we all dealt with office politics and what comes around with that? It's interesting because I've heard it described as office politics can feel like Game of Thrones.
Yes.
If you're familiar with that.
Yes.
Yes. It's like a Game of Thrones. And
Hunger Games.
The Hunger Games. Yes. It's interesting because we know that office politics, now that we work differently, it's not just in a physical office. We work virtually. So now we have to deal with it, as we look at our screens. So I don't know, you might have a couple of points of view on good old office politics.
Well, I think of office politics as, well, we use office politics. That's the term everybody understands. Everybody gets it, right?
Yeah.
But anytime you're in a group with humans, you're going to have some of this stuff going on.
Yeah.
So it might be your office, as you said, it might be a virtual team. It might be your church group. You're part of a community service. You're on a board, whatever. You can have these group dynamics at play. And we want to try to help you figure out, what can you do about it?
Yeah. What can you do about office politics so that you live and work well? In it all. It's interesting because politics is when, like, your influence, I think you told me this one time, it outruns the integrity of the intent. So my integrity is not trying to show up. My best self is not trying to show up. This is me trying to find dominance.
Have my own agenda.
The psychology of just politics, you can go all the way back in history, and it's some jockeying for importance. It is about dominance behaviors, and sometimes it can show up because people are feeling the ambiguity, and so in order for them to get control, the persona comes out. And they're starting to hijack the meeting or the agenda or the conversation.
I think that's so interesting you bring that up too, Mark, because I think the office politics, as we're talking about it, we've all seen it. It shows up. Oh, you just in a merger? Oh, brand new boss?
Yep.
Time of, like you said, a lot of ambiguity.
Yeah.
The dial can really get turned up on all of the agendas. And that's when it really gets even worse. So if you're going through that, we know during times like that, it might not even be permanent, but it's out there.
Yeah. So maybe we start this talk on the characters, the personas that show up. We got some. So, I think I'll throw out a few and then you can talk about them. Maybe you have some other ones, but there's like the bragger.
Yes.
Okay. We'll talk more about the bragger. Yes. The bragger is that person that, they have accomplishments. They have the beautiful background, something out of Architectural Digest, right? And their trophies and everything that comes out. It's just, it's a set. It's a set for them. So we got the bragger.
Need you to know about it.
Yeah, I need you to know about it. Right.
Yeah.
We have another one that we might call kind of the side chatter. Everybody, if you're virtual, there's the meeting and then there's the other meeting that's going on in chat. That person is, all smiles and nodding, but something else is going on.
Behind the scenes.
Yeah. Here's one, the bus driver. The bus driver publicly shames people. They roll over you.
Clever way.
Yes. It's almost like you have to be real clever to know that, that's shade.
That's shade. Mark, you didn't get the thing done, but I'm going to wait till the meeting, maybe, if I can't bring that up. Yeah.
That's right.
The bus driver.
Right. There's, the agreeable. You might call it something different, but depending on who the leader is in the room or who the decision makers in the room, they will agree with them.
Yeah. The kiss up.
Kissing up. And then if that authority figure or decision maker changes and it's a new person, they're going to agree with them.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Yes.
And we all know it.
The wind's blowing.
I'm blowing with
it. I know it. I'm reading the tea leaves.
Yeah. What I'd love to get oh, wait a minute, we forgot one. And I probably want you to start with this one. The Meeting Hijacker. That persona rules all personas.
They can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you know about a meeting
Do we want to talk about each of those?
Let's talk about them, but let's start with the meeting hijacker.
So we'll talk about them, and then we'll go back and give you some tips.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
So the meeting hijacker, this is a person who they have their own agenda.
Mm-hmm.
They want to be the star of the show. And if there's anywhere more than 2 or more gathered, there's an opportunity. I am going to grab the mic. I'm going to take the stage.
Yeah.
And it might not be a meeting even. It might be a dinner. It might be whatever it is, the gathering.
Yeah.
This person immediately makes it all about them.
Yeah.
So you got to spot that meeting hijacker and know, okay, we'll talk about some tips because it depends on who that meeting hijacker is and how you're going to handle it. But
that's right.
Yeah, that's one for sure.
So you've seen that meeting hijacker. When I talk about, I talked about the bragger.
Yeah.
The bragger, they are going to always, and it might not be so overt. I talked about, whether it's online or how they're showing, it's a set. It's like a movie set. Everything is beautiful. But what the bragger is doing is they are constantly self-promoting
Big time.
in a way that during the meeting, my team has done such and such. Well, that's very interesting. Let me tell you about my team. Yeah. And it's not the meeting hijacker. The meeting hijacker has lots of different topics, and they're steering the conversation to what they want to talk about. Right. The bragger will take what you've said and try to one-up it.
Yes.
They're bragging about their team or they're diverting.
And often themselves. But maybe if they're clever, in a little more subtle way.
That's in a little subtle way.
Little subtle.
Right.
Yes.
What about the side chatter?
Well, see, I kind of think of the side chatter and the silent operator. I'm going to talk about those two.
Okay.
They're kind of alike, but they're kind of different.
Okay.
So here's what's going on with the side chatter. As you mentioned, this might be the person that we're in a meeting together. And for those of you that are on Teams or whatever, I'm listening to you, but I'm typing and I'm texting Mark. I'm sending him a message of, this makes no sense.
Yeah.
What is this
like,
person?
What are they talking about?
I disagree with this.
Right.
But in the meeting, I'm very cool. Like, that sounds great.
Yeah.
So the silent chatter is somebody who is not willing to bring up their real views in the meeting. And I have also seen in some clients, the culture it's a nice culture and it's almost viewed as like you're being disruptive. If I might say, Mark, have we thought about, here's another thing that you might think about.
Yeah.
If you do that, you're not being
right.
You're not a team player.
Right.
So sometimes the environment can cause people to turn into side chatters.
Right.
Okay.
Now, what we're not talking about is another phenomenon that I see, and I call it the heavy poster. So they're always posting in the chat. It may be sometimes people are a little different and they're not going to speak
true.
up.
That's something different.
But that's something different.
That's different.
They're posting. So you have to be watching out. The side chatter, nobody knows that's going on.
Nobody knows what they think, which is really important.
That's what it is.
The other thing that's kind of related to side chatter is the silent operator, which they're kind of related because they're not saying what they really think with the team.
Yeah.
But the silent operator is a little sneakier. The silent operator probably is talking about you behind your back. Yeah. Is probably not only disagreeing with the recommendations and not speaking up, but maybe kind of like throwing you under the bus behind, as you talked about, that's one of the other personas, but is privately not really helping the cause. They're trying to throw some tacks in the trail.
Yep. Have you had to deal with the silent operator before?
I have. Yeah. And when we get to tips, I'll tell you what I have had. I've had several of the silent operators. So I don't think I think if your question is, how often does that happen?
Yeah.
A few times.
Okay.
In a competitive environment, especially.
Yeah.
You can have that happen.
That's right. That's right. The bus driver, of course, the image here is that, they'll throw you under the bus. They'll drop
back it
up, and, the thing about this is you have to be able to quickly spot the bus driver because it's almost like if you're not savvy enough or you don't know their tricks, it'll happen and it could go right past you and you don't really realize it. Or you're put, as my family used to say, they put you right on Front Street, right?
Yes.
They know. They know the secret or they know the thing. that may have, work didn't get done, or there was in a timely manner on, how something was delivered. And if, Patty, when we were having those issues with the such and such project, and, you all decided that y'all weren't going to work on it. Well, my team picked that up.
Yes.
And did the thing.
Exactly.
And you know what my aha is that really is getting me way tired of this in office politics? You can have multiple personas in one person.
You can.
Oh my gosh.
And let's talk about the person that is all of these together.
Oh my gosh.
It'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm getting a headache. Yeah, I know.
What about the agreeable? Hey, everything that the leader says.
That is the person that's kind of the kiss up the agreeable.
Yeah.
That is a person that is actually, I think this one might be the most common one. I told you what I thought yesterday, but I get in the meeting and I see the bossity boss actually is going in a completely different direction.
Yeah.
No, Mark, I think we need to do this. And you're kind of going, didn't we not talk about this for an hour yesterday?
Right.
So that is the person that reads the wind, looks at the room, who's the most senior person. I agree with them. Doesn't matter what they say. So they're not results driven or like what will work, what won't. It's whoever has the most power in the room. That's what I'm doing.
I have seen individuals that do that and do it well.
Oh,
like get away with it. Like,
yeah.
Oh my gosh, how did you, what Jedi mind trick did you just do on us all?
Exactly.
What?
Yeah.
Right?
That's for sure.
That's crazy.
Yes. So, and I love your point that these personas are not unique to one person.
Yeah.
And a lot of these people, probably the bus driver and the bragger, they might be sitting in one human.
That's right.
They
sitting in one human. Now, Patty, you and I have had a long history, and one of the things that I know about you, and I think we're going to talk straight.
Yes, we're talking straight.
Because it's just we can't help ourselves.
Gotta talk straight.
So we're going to talk straight, and so I want to put any of our listeners on notice. If you were one of these personas.
We're talking about it like somebody else.
Right.
What if it's you?
Right.
Yeah. Oh, geez.
Right.
Yeah, that's not good.
Right. I mean, have you been guilty of being one of these, We're talking to you, and we're calling it out because we are all about people learning how to live and work well, and we're tired of it.
You got to look in the mirror.
Ooh.
If it's you, I hadn't even thought about it. It could be one of our listeners.
Right. Could be. But listener, keep listening.
Keep listening.
We want to help.
We want to help, or you got to know what to watch out for.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So if we start with kind of so that's the persona. What do you do about it?
The tips.
Let's talk about some cheat codes on it.
Yeah.
Let's
do it.
The meeting hijacker.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think the meeting hijacker, you got to know who you're dealing with. So the first thing I would say is that somebody's a meeting hijacker. Are they your boss? Are they the boss's boss?
Yeah.
Their opinion, maybe they're the authority, maybe they're the approver.
Yeah.
Of what's going to happen. So yes, they do dominate.
Yeah.
And I think in those situations, you need to have the meeting for the meeting. Okay, because sometimes that person wants to be heard.
Yeah.
And if they see this is my only opportunity to let everybody know what I think, you got to find an alternative. So go meet with them ahead of time, get their point of view. Doesn't mean you always adjust everything, but you know what you're dealing with before
Patty,
you go in there.
Real quick on that, because in some environments, the meeting before the meeting was seen as negative, right?
Right.
But you're saying use the meeting before the meeting strategically.
Correct. Right. Yeah. Because if it's like with all things. Maybe I do this too much. Why is this person doing this? Right. Yeah. Well, is it maybe in good spirit? Maybe they're a meeting hijacker because nobody's listening to them. Yeah. I don't feel like, and I hear this sometimes from leaders in periods of high change, they're trying to get people to do things differently.
Yeah.
And so you got to know, okay, why is this person doing it? So that's number one. But I think a lot of it, a true meeting hijacker, probably that one I gave was the exception. But you got to have your facilitation strategy. You got to be good at facilitating. And if you're the meeting hijacker and you're just going and going and going, I got to look for the angle to come in and say, that's interesting, Mark, what you're saying, because you're saying this. Let me come over here. Josh, what's your take? I'd like to hear, coming from you, where you are in the organization, what's your take?
I love that.
Stronger thing can be, and I've seen this done too in a very respectful way, is to say, I'd like to hear from, we've kind of heard from our, operations team.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to hear now from some of the other, centers of expertise. Let's balance that out. And that's a polite way of saying we got to get some other voices going here.
I love that.
I think that is one.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're constantly looking for your very respectful redirect. And then, like I said, you can be a little stronger at times when you say, let's hear from But if it's your meeting,
right,
you cannot just sit back and say, take it away, gang.
Yeah, so as
you're
a leader,
not going to get what you want.
As a leader, you're saying that leaders of a meeting, it's your meeting, you have a responsibility to be watching for some of this too.
Right. And I also think, as with all meetings, we can have one of our other topics that aren't you tired of like stupid meetings. That could be another one. And I think
that might be a 2-episode.
That might be a series. But I think, every meeting should right up front, here's why we're here. Hopefully there's an outcome we're looking for. There's a decision we're trying to make, whatever it is. And we can't reach it if one person turns it into their karaoke.
Well, I think that those are great topics. I'll talk about great tips, great cheat codes. I'll talk about the bragger. So, the bragger is the one that, everything is perfect. And, whatever you say, they got something a little bit better. Reminds me of that character that Kristen Wiig played on Saturday Night Live where you said, well, we're going on a vacation to Mexico. And she's like, oh, well, I went on a vacation to the Amalfi Coast. And
she's the one-upper.
We were on the one-upper. So the thing with the bragger is, if you are the meeting facilitator and that's what happens, sometimes, so I'm just going to go direct, Mark talk straight, I would love to hear about X, Y, and Z, but I'm going to actually call on so-and-so. Barbara, tell me about yours. So Barbara's not the bragger, right? Barbara is someone that we don't hear from. Barbara is someone that's doing excellent work, and we need to figure out we need to hear from others. And then you get to the bragger. And, bragger can take up a lot of airtime too. And so you can say, you can also make control of it. I'd love to hear about one win that's going on this week, or that happened this quarter. Tom, let me hear from you.
Yes.
And so that way, not only have you, as the leader and the facilitator, you've directed where you want to start. When you get to the bragger, well, remember, it was just one, right? Just wanted to hear one thing.
Just one.
I appreciate all your contributions, but just one. That's all we got time for, right? And so you start to kind of respectfully, you're setting boundaries and rules for it. And also managers don't reward it because you reward it when you allow it.
Yeah. And you're kind of making the leap that you think the bragger is probably going to take more airtime than they need because they got to build in their self-promotion. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. That's another one. I think too, this one, just like the other one, before you go into meetings, the forums, whatever, you've got these people, you got to me, who's in the room?
That's right.
What do I have to think about? What do I have to manage? And that's true with both of them, I think.
Yeah. And I think as you're a junior person growing in your career, watch for that.
For sure.
So you can build your own strategies.
Yeah.
What do you think about this side chatter, silent operator? Like, how do you what's a cheat code for them?
Okay, I want to separate those two. So the side chatter, the person we talked about that's, messaging, not saying what they really think. I think it's back to, we keep talking the facilitation strategies. I'm a big believer in, you can either call on people, you can say, you know what? Here, we've debated this. I'm going to go around the room.
Right.
Okay, if you've got 6 or 7, 8 people, let's go around the room.
So you're engaging everybody.
I am forcing people to give their opinion publicly.
Okay.
What's your recommendation? Also, I think people that sometimes side chatters they're into self-promotion, but they're doing self-promotion by not ever saying anything. Like, I'm protecting myself. I'm promoting myself by I'm ducking. Okay, I'm just going to play it safe. So that's one thing you can do. Ask people, what do you think?
Yeah.
You can also, you gave the example earlier of people like on virtual calls, and you've got the side chatter, and you've got people. Sometimes it's people just posting.
True, that's true.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that.
But I know one thing I have done before is I've said, huge fan of chat. Everybody loves it. But I would ask on this one, let's use our voices, please. If I'm facilitating this, it's very hard for me. I can't keep up with what's happening on chat. So it's like there's a separate conversation and I miss it. I don't want to.
Yeah.
So use your voices.
I like that. And you're getting to know Patti and I, and we are fun. We are really fun. We love a good side chat.
Oh,
we love a good side chat, but what we're talking about here is if you encounter it and it's negative and it's taking away
or distracting,
and it's happening or whatever, we're trying to help you with, how you get around that. So that's helpful.
Yeah. And you said earlier when we were talking about, you want to pull it into a single thread discussion. That can the side chatter. The other one I want to mention, the silent operator, which you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
The silent operator, to me, that's the person that is a little sneaky.
Yeah. Or a lot sneaky.
Yeah. They're this falls into the behind your back, which is one of my pet peeves.
You had said you had dealt with this situation.
I have. Yeah. And I have had good luck with this in my career. And actually, not too long ago, coached a team member. I can give you the generic description. Yeah. But what's happened to me is when I felt like somebody was behind my back, doing a little undermining, I went and I just go directly to talk to them. And what my strategy is always, I understand, Mark, you have some concerns about these recommendations, or maybe you didn't feel like I was, forthright enough on this one issue. I just want to talk to you about it. Can you tell me what your view is? I heard that through a couple other team members.
And Patti, that's so respectful. It's mature. Yeah. It's giving leadership.
And it's letting you know, Mark, you talk about me behind my back, and I'm going to come to you. And then I think also saying, Mark, I hope you'll always feel comfortable coming to me. So if you have concerns, if you have something that you wish we were doing differently, please.
I'm open to hearing it.
Let's talk about it. So I probably, over the course of my career, which has been a long one, right?
Yeah.
I've probably done that about 4 times. Yeah. And every time it has. Yeah. It is really, it stopped. Yeah.
I love that.
It's important. You can do it respectfully. Yeah, it's not like you're going in with, hey, I heard you've been talking about it. Right. You're not doing that.
It is how you show up. And I think if you're more seasoned in your career, dealt with it, or kind of where you come from and your own self-confidence, I think always start with the high road on it. I don't care how bad the person is a situation. Start with the high road, because you don't want to let something that my wife tells me all the time, and I actually have a little sticky on my computer now. Don't let your emotions overrule your wisdom.
That's really good.
Okay. Don't let your emotions overrule your wisdom. So if you're dealing with that, because that can be confrontational,
right.
You got to, hey, I love how you said it. I hear that this might be some concerns for you, and I want to understand it so that we can get to a better place.
And it's communicating in the most respectful way.
Yep.
If you talk about things, I'm going to come talk with you. Yeah. And I think that puts people on notice in a positive way. Yeah. I think we'll give one other example on this before we get to the others.
Yeah.
We had a situation in my prior consulting firm, and one of our other partners had. We were working alongside one of the large management consulting firms, and we know how they operate. Right? We know the drill. We've come out of those. And this particular person was trying to make partner, almost there, and was really just throwing us under the bus. Yeah. And the client trusted us. The client was coming to us. They were the ones coming to us. And what we ended up doing is, she did use just what we just talked about.
Right.
She went to that other leader from the other company and just directly said, and I feel like we're constantly, there's a lot of frustration with us.
Yeah.
I need to hear from you. What are we, because we are working alongside together for the best interest of this client.
Yep.
And I'd like to talk to you because I keep hearing certain things are being said and even kind of made the meeting.
Yeah.
And this other person, ended up apologizing.
Yeah.
and said, I'm really sorry. I haven't given y'all a fair shake. Never happened again.
That's it. And you mentioned something in that when we talk about there was a little bit of bus driving going on.
There is some bus driving.
And, I think with the bus driver, that one also, I think, is a situation where we should all, take a little advice from Dr. Benton and my wife, and don't let your emotions overrule your wisdom. So if you're in a meeting and someone is throwing you under the bus, first of all, is it true? Mm-hmm. If it's true, own it.
Yeah.
If it's true, own it. Because guess what? Let me tell you what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to do it again.
Yeah.
If I'm called out like that, because nobody likes that. And I think everybody in general wants to perform well.
Yeah.
Now, if there is speculation and interpretation around it, then you have to choose your moment. Sometimes in the situation, remember, managing yourself, showing up like a leader, you might say, well, we might have differing points of view on how that was getting done. If it's appropriate to talk about it, in a very good way, then maybe you should. But I'm also a big fan of maybe we should take this offline.
And I agree. And I think, too, you're drawing a distinction between, to me, the silent operator is driving the bus in the dead of the night. Okay? Nobody can see this. But you're talking about the person that's like, it's a different strategy. If somebody's saying, you know what? I just disagree with you. I don't think this is right.
Yeah.
That's a different tactic than somebody who is the behind the back thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But still related. Still got the bus.
Still related. But let's agree.
When they drive the bus.
When they're driving, it's at night. It's at night time. What about the always agreeable, always saying yes? I mean, like like a chameleon.
Yes. Yeah. I'll say it in the right way. The kiss up. That's the most appropriate way to say it.
Talk it straight.
Right. That one's a hard one. And that's when I think you have to decide, is the kiss up affecting the outcome of the group?
Yeah.
And sometimes if the person's more senior or has more influence, more authority, they can.
Yeah.
But I think if somebody is just doing it for their own self-promotion, but it's not really affecting what the group decides to do or the outcome, you kind of have to, and I would say, I don't know if you agree with this, but I think most people that kind of, wear that little kiss up hat, everybody knows it.
They know it.
Everybody knows it, and it hurts their credibility.
Yeah.
And, so I don't know. Sometimes maybe you almost have to let it take care of itself.
Well, I think so. And it's reminding me, because we learn lessons from those that we love and that love us back. My mom used to say, sometimes that's none of your business, right? Keep your dipper in your own bucket, your own water bucket. None ya. I'm going to let you behave that way if you want to.
Yeah.
I don't have to get all into it.
Well,
sometimes you just don't have to.
And I think too, as one wise leader once told me, is you got to know when a problem is yours to solve and when you need to. And that's what you're raising. It's like, hey, sometimes somebody is they're playing office politics, but maybe to their own detriment.
To their own detriment. Do I have to get into it or not? So I want to take a pivot here because when you and I have talked about this in the past, there is office or work politics, and that's different from just adapting to how we work.
So true.
So you know what I'm saying? It's like office politics, and I think this is one of yours, is where you're in the experience and it's draining from you. It's taking work and effort to get through the meeting, right? It's some of those funny clips and memes that we see on Instagram or TikTok where somebody's in a meeting and they're like, let me tell you what I'm not going to do. I'm done. I'm done here, right? Right?
Just not doing it.
Not doing it. But adapting to the way we work. This is when you have to submit, your reports, or this is how we, show up for meetings. And that's different. Do you have any thoughts on that? Kind of adapting to the work environment and how we work?
Yes. And I think, as with all things, you have to have enough self-reflection to know the difference, because you cannot blame office politics on everything that doesn't go your way.
Yeah.
And so I think you have to know, is this situation, is it really office politics?
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard a lot of times, as you have, when somebody didn't get promoted, office politics.
Office
didn't get
politics.
Instead of realizing, well, that big project I had didn't land too well this year. I'll get it next year. Or
well, you're talking about self-awareness too about it.
Self-awareness. You have to know. Office politics cannot be if
it didn't go right.
If it didn't go your way.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to, I think, take a step back.
Mm-hmm.
How did this happen?
Yeah.
Why is this happening? Talk to a colleague. Talk to somebody you trust.
Yeah.
Because, and I guess our warning, even though we're talking about office politics are real, we all talked to everything we've mentioned.
Yeah.
Most of you are probably nodding, like, yes. Is make sure office politics doesn't become your, shorthand excuse for why things didn't go your way.
Yeah. Absolutely. Patti, say one more thing about self-promotion. Mm-hmm. So office politics, sometimes we talked about some of these people and these personas, they're promoting. They're putting themselves out there, but there's a positive aspect to self-promotion. Yeah. Right? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I do. And I mean, how many times have people been coached who are ready to, get more visibility, move to the next level or whatever, is people don't know what you're doing. Right. People don't know enough of your success stories.
You need more exposure.
More visibility. Visibility. And you're sitting here going, okay, how do I do that? I think the difference in, I think self-promotion is letting people know, in the positive sense, letting people know what you're doing, what your successes are in a positive, respectful, productive way. And I think also, we've talked in some of our other, sessions that we've done or podcasts about people who feel like they're other.
Yes, they're other.
The other that feel like I just keep working hard.
The other is if you're a person of color, you might be in the LGBT, Q community, or maybe you learn differently.
Right. Or you're a woman in a very male-dominated field.
Yeah, gender, and you show up differently, and you're trying to figure out, well, how do I stake my contributions? Yeah. And it's different.
Yes, and I think that's really important distinction, because if you are trying to be more visible, let people know about your success. Self-promotion kind of sounds kind of dirty, doesn't it? Like
how do you share your contributions with authenticity?
Yeah, I think that's right. And I think that's a good counterbalance to this conversation, because I think, you can make sure your leaders know through reports, through status, through when you have meetings. I just want to make sure I'm so excited about, we've accomplished this much. Let me just share with you real quick before we jump into the topic. Or come to one of our discussions that we had about this launch. We launched Workday. It went really well. I hope leader, we'd love you to come to one of our debrief sessions.
That's great.
Could you?
That's right.
There are productive ways you can, again, self-promotion is a little bit of a dirty word. It sounds like it, but it's really, you can find that visibility without doing some of the things we talked about here. About tearing other people down, taking the stage when it's not yours to take. I mean, I think...
Self-promotion, it's not a peacock move. It's like a playbook move. Yeah. Right?
Yeah. I thought you were going to say another bird. I couldn't wait to see what other bird. It's not the peacock. What other bird
is it? Well, it's like an eagle, maybe.
Like an eagle.
An eagle is flying high, and they're looking at the land.
They're landing.
They're swooping.
That's it.
They're flying and swooping. Okay.
Here we go.
There you
go.
Not
a peacock.
Not a peacock. No. Don't do that.
No.
Well, as always, it's great to be able to have these conversations with you. And I just absolutely learn a lot. But I want to ask you, in this whole episode, where we've been talking about, work or office politics, what is your one aha moment or your one takeaway?
Yeah. I would say we kind of talked about this in multiple different places, but it really reminds me, when you are having meetings, you really need to think ahead of time. In the change world that, we've kind of both come out of, is, your stakeholder management. Who's in the meeting? What are their agendas? How do they typically show up?
Yeah.
And do I have some of these personas in there?
Yeah.
And how do I, because if you are strategic, intentional, think about those things up front, you are more likely to be able to facilitate and manage versus go in and fly by the seat of your pants. I think that's the main thing. Proactive planning.
I think that proactive planning and not just winging it is what you're saying,
Yes.
right? For me, I want to speak to the other, right?
I love that.
And I'm going to say, when I say other, I never want our listeners to think when we say other, it's a negative, because we celebrate.
Well, you and
other.
I are both
Right.
others.
We're other, right?
Often
we
in that
celebrate.
other category.
So I'm going to say the other positive. You
Absolutely.
know? The other positive, don't let your emotion overrule your wisdom.
Love it.
When you're in these environments, sometimes we think the color of our skin, our gender, who we love is keeping us from the thing, right? But I want our other to be positive always.
Right.
And so step back, be eagle, and get up high and look and see what's going on.
Yes.
Talk to your wise counsel.
Yes,
Right?
exactly. And know you deserve to be there.
You deserve to
and
be
I
there.
think one of our biggest, this may be a slight bunny trail, but I do think to add to that point, I think people, you've got to believe I have a role to play. I am there to contribute. And no matter where I am, if I could be the youngest person in the room, how do I contribute to this? And there's always an answer.
There's always an answer in there.
Sure.
I want to just thank our listeners for tuning in. Hope that this episode of Aren't You Tired Of Work and Office Politics was helpful to you.
Yes.
Patti, thank you.
It was a great conversation.
Yeah, I always love these conversations.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we introduced Be an Eagle.
Be an eagle.
Not a
peacock.
Don't be a peacock.
Or a turkey.
Or a flamingo on one
flamingo.
foot.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Don't do it.
Yep. Well, listeners, thank you. We appreciate you.
Definitely.
And tune in next time where we'll be talking about more things that all of us are probably tired of.
And give us your ideas. What are you tired of?
Yeah.
That's what we want to know.
That's right.
You know, you can email us. Email is in the description. You can message us. We want to know, what are you tired of that you need our ideas?
Yeah.
You know, ideas on. Because
and we can learn together on it.
We can learn together and share with your friends.
Yeah.
Let other people know if you think you have
this.
somebody who is a meeting hijacker.
Share this.
Send them this.
That's right.
Like,
you know what? Before we sign off, what I would love that someone hears this and they say, "Team, we're going to have a little team building and listen to this episode of Aren't You Tired Of?"
That's
Wouldn't that be amazing?
We're going to see who fits which persona in our little team.
Right. We can play a little pointing game.
We can. That's exactly right.
All right. Well, thanks, Patti, so much. Thanks, everybody.
you.
Y'all take care and be well.
Okay.